you, bud.
A revolution has just begun, and we're creating it. This revolution is about vision, it's about movement, about direction, but it's also about change, as we all know, and that we've all discussed over the last 13 weeks. The revolution is about being first to market and first to value for our clients. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Bob Bernard, the Chief Executive Officer of marchFIRST. marchFIRST will revolutionize business inside and out because of who we are. We believe that we're insightful catalysts. Our 9,000 employees are known for their tremendous business insight, the immense creativity and technology and know-how. But we're also radical realists. We provide highly creative yet feasible solutions to problems thought to be really unsolvable. We intend to build the market-leading brand, to be the company that comes to mind when businesses reach for help in the digital economy. And we've got what it takes, we believe, in terms of skills, in experience, in reach, and in scale. And now we're going to add to that this brand, this incredible brand journey that we believe will be a competitive weapon in the marketplace. Today we've got a great new name, and it begins with the date. But absolutely, it's a lot more than that. It combines serendipity with strategy. It embodies movement. It's all about taking charge, and it speaks to leading in your market. Early this summer, we'll launch a global marketing campaign throughout the world, driving our message into markets everywhere. Just as what you'll see today sets new standards for how to think about a services company, our global campaign is going to set new standards for marketing in the services industry. We will take a bold message into the world, for we are creating a really bold company. A company that is united by the passion, belief that we're making a difference for our clients. We're making our clients more successful by helping them direct every discipline necessary to compete and win in the digital economy. Our story breaks into three major sections. First and foremost, I'll overview the marketplace for you and where we're tackling that marketplace and the unique proposition that we believe that we bring to that market. Secondly, then what I'll do is I'll bring forth and I think bring to life in a visual way, hopefully, through a series of case studies of our valued clients that shows how we serve our clients. And then I'm going to finish up by showing you how we're planning to dominate, and dominate very clearly in the market through aggressive growth. The internet, we think, is fundamentally an accelerator of change. And we believe that there are so many forces right now in the world that are acting on the economy, they're acting on the social fabric, as well as the whole entire political scene. And the internet is at the core of it. It's accelerating all of them at the same time. From globalization and supply and demand to increase in choices, we've got shifting power to the customer, we've got all type of different economic transparency issues, and then we also have power shifts in the supply chain that's changing how supply chains and products are going to be delivered to customers. And democratization of decision-making both inside and outside the business world. And an increase of speed of innovation, making those cycle times shorter, and the huge risk that that means that's increasing for CEOs today. These trends are triggering a range of responses from the business world, from creation of new business instincts to the rapid development and execution of transformational moves. It's all about a number of things. And the evidence is right there in front of us. Every day when you pick up the newspaper or you open up your browser, at one extreme you've got the egghead.coms that has closed down their physical storefronts to 100% concentrate on a whole new business model. And then at the other end, you've got your fierce competitors that are banding together to increase efficiency throughout this whole collective supply chain. And then in the middle of all this is some of the world's most storied companies, and they're feverishly trying to explore how the internet's going to undo them, maybe reinvent them. And these forces are changing and driving responses that are making headlines. But obviously headlines don't tell the real story. For every company that grabs a headline, and there could be 500 of them or maybe even 5,000, businesses are also being buffeted by change. Serious companies, big brands, sector leaders, if you will, startups, they're all trying to make the moves, the right moves, to position their companies for success. And they're all trying to figure it out. Our clients are facing concrete challenges every day. Now I'd like to give you a few examples. First, Williams-Sonoma, a high-end provider of kitchenware, as we all know. These trends are forcing them to defend their business. They need to preserve the loyalty that they have with their customers, those that buy in their stores and buy through their catalog. They're trying to reach new customers, though, and also obviously increase their sales. But they've got to improve that business efficiency, and they've got to do it by a number of different ways, reducing their costs, But then they think about it, how are they going to do that? The bottom line for Williams-Sonoma is they're trying to figure out how to defend against a number of the pure play attackers that are in that category. The next one, eHome. Here's eHome that's just trying to attack. No culture, no bad blood, no stigmas associated with business titles or egos. This is a company that's trying to disintermediate an existing industry, the buying and selling of homes. And we've all gone through it. I mean, it's a painstaking process. I mean, they want to build a completely new business model, starting from scratch. They need to capture market share, and that means building a brand with strong value proposition. And they want to simplify that whole process. And again, I think we all know that it is a very cumbersome. We're all into immediate gratification, so they want to collapse that cycle time. And eHome is trying to redefine that industry today. The next one, Bemis. Bemis is a company that's very much in what we would define as a mature marketplace. They manufacture an incredible product called toilet seats. And right now, these forces are making them worry about survival. They've got to figure out how to reduce their costs first and foremost to first compete effectively in their markets that they serve. They need to revamp their whole customer interface because they've got to talk digitally to those customers. And for some companies, that's a luxury. For companies like Bemis, if they're being told, you've got to do it now or you're going to be cut out of the entire value chain, you know that right now Bemis is potentially on the wrong end of this proverbial supply chain, and they need to re-engineer that effort. They're going to start looking at how they're going to preserve their business and build from there into new marketplaces. Now let's think about this paradigm that we're all under, which companies have traditionally been operating. Traditional companies have thought about their business model, their brand, their systems as almost independent components. And there's little dynamic connectivity between these components. Now, the great service companies of the past have built their reputation what we call on a single access. So whether you're talking about consulting companies or agencies or system integrators or just ERP companies, they've really fought to dominate their markets. But only rarely have we seen true excellence across more than one dimension. In the new paradigm, what we believe the leaders will embrace more of an interdependent, dynamic approach to running their business. The business model, the brand, the systems, and the processes are all fundamentally interdependent. They're a system, really an ecology, if you will, when you think about this. It's an opportunity to really work together, both inside and outside, to really identify the ultimate value chain. And we as a service company believe that we understand what this means for our clients and how they can meet this challenge going forward. And we know that it doesn't make sense to implement technology without considering a number of different things. Number one, the human face. The human face is really critical. Number two, well, we believe that that's true no matter what. You're building an e-commerce system or you're selling to consumers. For a procurement system, that turbocharges your back office as well. We know that thinking that brand responsibility stops at the marketing department, if you think about it, is old school thinking. After all, a poorly architected supply chain going forward can, undo a $300 million brand advertising campaign in probably less than 2 weeks today. And we know that the key to modern business models is understanding how markets and market share and infrastructure and technology are all interrelated, which means you've got to consider all three at the same time. Building technology is truly no longer enough. So let's talk about marchFIRST. When you think about our competitive edge, the marchFIRST competitive edge, let's first go back to some of these questions. Okay, first and foremost, the what. What business should I be in? We believe that we've got a fundamental understanding of markets and industries that are rivaled only by a few firms like McKinsey, BCG, and Bain. But unlike those firms, we have hardcore insight, and that is hardcore insight and experience on the internet and the imagination that comes from this multidisciplinary approach of understanding the new business paradigm that we speak to, and that balances this whole concept of the business models, the brands, the systems, the processes. Secondly, let's think about the next question, this how on integrated business enterprise. A key thing is we believe that we use more fact-based approaches to help our clients prioritize these initiatives. And we make certain that we do that, and we undertake it in what order. We have no bias. We are doing it completely focused on how we can maximize the business impact. And the more important thing that I think that's there is that we are going to touch the right part at the right time. We don't have a vested interest in just one solution, in any one business function. We have never been, neither of our companies have ever been dependent. We didn't ride the Y2K craze. We didn't ride the ERP craze. We sure as heck didn't ride the client server wave until its death. We had percentages of revenue, small percentages of revenue in each one. And if you really want to build a company that answers a bunch of questions, you've got to go to a whole nother paradigm shift. You've got to look at a company that is focused on a number of different solutions. So our message to our clients is that we're going to touch the right place at the right time. Last question is do it. I mean, the final edge and the most important piece is really how are you going to do it? We believe that we are the only player out there that clearly, in our minds, connects this concept of from the supply chain all the way through to the consumer. And really, we believe that we've got more relevant experience out there and that we focus on this concept that's speed to market, innovation, and last but not least, introducing today a very dynamic approach to create it, design it, build it, implement it, and manage and host it. Leveraging the strength, leveraging the client relationship, and actually scalable concepts that have a tremendous amount of bottom line impact at the P&L level as well as the top line revenue level. We form alliances with what we call market-leading companies for what we call also the 3 Ds. It's all about, in our mind, market development, business development, as well as professional development. With each of these alliance partners, you can see listed on the screen, what we want to do is to seek to advance the state of the market, to set up channels for business development, and find ways to support our employee base through education and development programs. Alliances are nothing new, and we know that to business. And we have them, our competitors have them, but what most people don't understand is the depth and the breadth of our relationships and the leverage that we can extract from them. So let's take a look at this slide, which I think is a real powerful slide. First and foremost, 3Com. Here's a relationship where they've made a $100 million commitment to our company. That commitment is going towards paying us for developing leading solutions on 3Com platforms that both we as well as 3Com will jointly resell and have opportunity for leverage and scale. Let's go to Novell for a minute. Take Novell, another $100 million commitment. Now this one's focusing on taking joint solution development and sales opportunities around their new product lines and actually taking the productization or product component of single sign-on, NDS, ZenWorks, just to name a few, and integrating those into customer relationship management systems and ERP systems, as well as supply chain, and so on. Now, last but not least, let's take Microsoft. Another $100 million commitment. Microsoft is funding the technical development for what? Our integrated application services offering, and is working closely with us in Redmond in a joint development lab right now, creating solutions around their platform. Not off the shelf, but solutions for our clients that can be hosted in our IASAP. How many, literally, if you think about it, how many pure play competitors that do you know that have relationships like this, and more to come?
We set out to look for partners with a broad range of experience. We wanted people with true strategic vision, people with a strong track record of success. It's surprising the number of people you talk to in this industry that really don't have a track record, but certainly talk as if they do. We had a unique instance here in the fact that Toys R Us is actually one of the few global retail brands. We're the #1 retailer of toys in Japan. We're #1 in the UK. And what so I had to find someone here that had a global team that could help us build this business. Last but not least, it was all about people, because chemistry really matters in this business. We met with and we interviewed a lot of top companies. And in the end, as you know today, we selected marchFIRST, because they not only met all of our criteria, they brought a lot more to the party.
Let me tell you what Blue Vector means for our key stakeholders, which consist of our employees, our clients, and our shareholders. Let's start with our clients. Blue Vector helps clients with capital and IPO positioning. marchFIRST provides a strategy, branding, and technology that makes it all work. Value for shareholders comes from the bottom line profits that results from phenomenal flow of investment opportunities.
I'd like to share something with you that we believe will make our employees and our potential employees very happy people. We're a professional services firm. Attracting and retaining top-tier talent is critical to our business. You know it, and we live it every day. Let's face it, the big competition for our employees is .com companies. Up till now, our employees had a choice. They could stay with us and earn very good money, or they could roll the dice, take a really big risk, and maybe hit it big with a .com. Now our employees have an opportunity to get in on the equity opportunities, early equity opportunities of not just one .com, but potentially dozens of them. And at the same time, they can build their career at marchFIRST and work on some of the coolest stuff developing the new economy. We've created a couple of innovative investment gain programs. The first is called the Employee Investment Sharing Fund. What is it? It's for all employees. And it's a bonus plan. We're going to fund this bonus plan with profits we gain from investments from our 50% investment that we have in Blue Vector investment portfolio. When Blue Vector wins, our employees win. Our employees have the possibility of gain, and they have no investment risk. It's very simple and very effective. And keep in mind that this is on top of our already very competitive compensation programs. So this is a plan for every employee from day one at marchFIRST. We think this is how we're going to be able to attract top talent. The longer the employees stay with us, the bigger their participation opportunity. That's how we're going to keep top talent.
Happy to report that on day one we were able to put the organizational structure that you see in front of you with 5 regional groups across the world. This is where the bulk of our employees are. This is where the professional services consultants reside. Underneath these 5 groups are 11 regions and 70-some offices. On March 1st, we were then able to roll out an organization structure with names in these boxes so that at a minimum, each of the employees in the company understood what the reporting structure was, they understood the group that they lived in, and they knew who their boss was. Since that time, we have made additional progress in terms of defining what the organizational structure below this level will be. We've rolled that out to some extent, not completely. It will be completely implemented in early Q2. From our perspective, having a clear organizational structure at this level is probably the single most important operational task that we could have taken in the last 13 weeks, and we were able to achieve it. Let me go for a minute then to revenue drivers. Revenue starts with business development, and from the day we were first legally permitted to do so under Hart-Scott-Rodino, we established a joint business development clearinghouse. The idea here was to ensure that all joint leads went to this group of people who constituted the clearinghouse so that we could establish a single point of contact with the prospective client who could marshal all the resources from across both companies that we needed to put against the opportunity. It's been very successful for us, as I think you probably heard earlier today. Today we have about 150 active joint pursuits. A second key revenue driver for us is recruiting. This is the lifeblood of our professional services business. We must do this well to succeed. Accordingly, we put a fair amount of effort into this very early on. On day one, we had established global standards for recruiting. We had appointed the key recruiters in the regions and the offices, and we had aligned the recruiting organization with the field organization so that those recruiters can meet the goals of the field organization. Communications, key issue. We need to communicate to our employees to bring them along with us on this journey. Very early on, we commissioned Hewitt & Associates to do a cultural audit. They communicated electronically with approximately half of the employee population of March 1st. The good news that came out of the survey, that came out of the audit, is that we got empirical evidence that validated our gut level feeling, which is that the cultures of the two companies are not radically dissimilar. They're very similar in terms of what is interesting, what's not interesting, what people expect to get out of a career at their employer. That allows us to be free as a management team to concentrate on moving the combined company forward rather than spending our time converging two radically dissimilar cultures.
One of the things that we do when we go in to our clients that we all kind of know instinctively happens, but people don't necessarily understand until they start to experience us, is a client has a particular challenge or a particular opportunity that they're facing with. And when we go in, we all see that challenge in a different way. We see the same end goal, but we actually see the challenge differently. And I think, why don't we talk a little bit about that and what that means for us and what fun it is to do that, both for us and for the clients.
We look at what are the right target markets, how we define our products right, are we pricing them right, what's the marketing and distribution model, how do we achieve operational excellence, what alliances do we need to really make this work, how do we leverage our current assets.
We go in and take a look to make sure that the organizations that we're working with have an infrastructure that they can grow with. We take a look at also exposure potentials. Part of this new economy means that you're susceptible now. You're open targets for people trying to find a way to shut you down or to break into your most important assets. So security becomes a major issue as well. Other things that become critical to succeed going forward from a technology viewpoint have to do with being able to extend your architecture. So many organizations start with a very short-sighted viewpoint. They do everything they can just to get up, just to launch. And everything beyond that is something that's supposed to be magic. It just occurs at some point. The more forward-looking you can be at the beginning, the better off you're going to be. We go in and take a look from a technology viewpoint, how to succeed now and also how to grow into the future.
And our job in the creative and marketing department is not only to stress the technology guys out a lot in terms of trying to figure out, really how do we create,
Is that the primary goal?
It works.
It's not the stated goal, but it often is.
It's a sub-goal if you can check it off along the way.
Yeah, exactly. In the creative and marketing group, what we do is we think a lot about brands. It's a bit of a tired word, or it's been used by a lot of people in different ways, but John Barber came out and talked about Toys R Us and talked about the advantage of that brand even in the marketplace, even though they weren't the first movers into that space. So we work with an incredible array of clients, from Apple and Disney, where you've got very strong CEOs who know exactly what they want and what their brand stands for, to people that that have an amazing new idea, that have gone to a VC, that are creating something from scratch that never existed before. So our group really spends a lot of time thinking about kind of the emotional qualities of how people connect to the brand, of trying to figure out how to actually get to your consumer, because in the end, if we build this amazing technology solution, which we will, it still has to go out and people have to come to it. So we think about that, and we do think about the experience quite a bit, because again, in the world of new media, the experience is in many ways the brand.
I think that people in technology are really excited when they have the opportunity to do something that's never been done before. And one of the challenges we've had historically is that we've never really been connected to the business before. We've always sort of been throw the project over the cube wall, come back, bring us pizza every now and then, check on us in a couple of months.
Open the door, throw stuff in, and see what.
Right? And what tends to be there is this void, this vacuum between delivering business results and your daily activities. You don't feel like you're part of the organization. So the thing that really entices me, the thing that really gets me excited, and I think that marchFIRST really delivers something we've never seen before in this respect, is that technology people finally get the opportunity to be just as important to the solution that's being put forward as anyone else. And that's something that's vital. That's something that's really exciting. In fact, if you look at it on a list of nice-to-haves on a job satisfaction issue, it's right to the top of the list.
I really want to make a difference for my clients, and I believe with the kind of capabilities we have, sitting in these chairs and across all of our people, we'll do a heck of a lot better job on strategy than any pure play management consulting firm can do. And we're ultimately going to deliver, and we're going to make businesses excel. I think we're going to have a huge impact on our clients. I think we're going to have a huge impact in the marketplace. And what more could one want?
Today we've introduced to you March 1st. You've met some of the leadership team that will power and drive and fuel the company going forward. We've shown, I think, hopefully you a glimpse of the new brand. And we've given you a peek at how we're going to set the tone for the entire industry, this whole new paradigm. You've heard about the beliefs about what it takes to lead in the internet economy. And hopefully that you've got a better understanding that we have demonstrated that we're built to deliver services that clients need. You heard about the ToysRUs.com, you've heard about the Aetnas, the Williams-Sonomas. We've got something here that's scalable, that we can tackle leading-edge challenges around the globe, and that we can make a difference. You've seen the kind of work that we do, and how that we're set up to cross-sell, to pull through, and that we are literally a machine in both of those categories. And we've shown you how our market-leading integrated application services offering is at the sweet spot of the market, the heart of the market, where the market needs to move. And we've shown you how we're going to attack that market. We've briefed you on Blue Vector, our joint venture company and investment arm, and we've shown you how it works with our employees, which is a critical component of our success there, and our clients, and ultimately you, our shareholders. And we've introduced to you our corporate partnership practice, which focuses on obviously working with global 2,000 companies to help invent new businesses, to invest in them, to take them to market, to make them better than they are today. One of our newest clients has told you what's going on out there and why, critically, obviously, the best pick on the planet, at least from their client's perspective, which obviously we're not going to come up here and have them talk about one of our competitors, but at least from their perspective, why we're the best company. And most importantly, we've shown you our business architecture. And this is a really dynamic model, and we want to make certain you understand how we're thinking about our company and the dynamics around that and the benefit that it brings, obviously, to our shareholders, our employees, and to our clients. What we've just shared with you is only what we define as the blueprint for our new company. It's the blueprint for a new kind of company. It's a company that combines what I talked about all day today, and that's the imagination that we have, the rigor that we have, the passion, as well as the reality. And I think it was demonstrated as the four gentlemen just walked off the stage a few minutes ago, and everything that they talked about, and the balance between the strategic thinking, the cerebral thinking, the emotional thinking. It's an interlocking architecture, which really includes professional services, application services, funding, alliances, spin-ins, spin-outs, as well as an incredible client base that we can leverage and take those to create better companies as we move forward. An interlocking architecture that delivers the total solution that serious people need. If they want to seize those opportunities that are out there, they're presented by today's economy. A brand that we believe is going to set the tone for an entire new industry that others will follow. We're building, again, a machine that redefines services businesses. And we're finding new ways to generate values to our clients, to our employees, as well as to our shareholders. And what's really, I think, more important than any of this is that we've only begun. We're not even done yet. So keep your eye on us, because what you've got now, what we have now, is hot. But what we've got cooking over the next couple months is going to blow your mind away. And I really want to take this opportunity to express my appreciation for your support of March 1st, both today but going forward in the future. Thank you very much.